The Chanticleers were 8-5 last season. They won the Hawaii Bowl, and they opened their 2024 season on Thursday, August the 29th at Jacksonville State. They're represented today by head coach Tim Beck and by student athletes Zach Elam, a junior offensive lineman from Clearwater, Florida, and Shane Bruce, a redshirt junior linebacker from Carrollton, Georgia. We will begin with opening remarks from Coach Beck, and then we'll take questions for both Coach and the student athletes. Coach?
Thank you. I appreciate all of you being here today. It's a great day. It's always great to be back in New Orleans. Great food, great atmosphere, and obviously now it's a time for football. And, I kind of wanted to open my statement, first of all, to just say it's a great time to be at Coastal Carolina. There's so many positive things happening right now under the direction of President Benson. We just hired Chance Miller, our new athletic director. He's here today. If you haven't got a chance to meet him, please do so. I mean, full of energy, passion, has an incredible vision and a plan, and has all of Teal Nation fired up. And you can see a lot of projects and a lot of people coming in place. We've hired Justin Gray, new basketball coach, Kevin Snall, our new baseball coach. We got a new scoreboard put in, new ribbon bands, our indoor facilities. Got the Legos. I call it the Legos. You can see all the sides are up, being built. Soccer facility being built. Going to have a new area to play basketball games in. It's just an unbelievable time to be at Coastal Carolina, and everyone's excited. Our players are super excited about it. I think Teal Nation's fired up. Our alumni, our fans. And so I'm honored to be here to represent Coastal Carolina, bringing Shane and Zach, two quality student athletes, excellent football players, tough, hard-nosed, exactly what Coastal Carolina football is all about. So it was a great first year, great learning experience for me as a head coach. They say, Coach, your second year is going to be easier. They always tell you that. Let's see, we got communication system put in, 2-minute warning. We have transfer portal. We got NIL. We got all kinds of things that are going on in rule changes, recruiting rule changes, new signing dates. Hey, Coach, it'll be easier. Like, it's never easy. It keeps going and keeps changing. And so you just got to adapt and adjust and keep moving on. And so I'm looking forward to this season. I'm ready to do football and get into football. So our guys have been working extremely hard. I'm sure you've heard this from every coach that stood up here. And we've got a really new team. Every year it's a new team. We'll have 66 new members of our 120-man roster that have not been at Coastal Carolina before. And that's a quite a big overhaul. But our players have done a tremendous job of building and maintaining our culture of who we are, what we believe in, our standards of our program, and the work ethic. And at the end of the day, I feel for y'all in the media, right? Trying to preseason select who's going to be number one. Nobody knows who their team even is, and you're trying to figure out who's going to win the conference. Good. If you guys can get that right, let me know, because we're going to Vegas. So it is I don't even know my starting lineup yet. You guys want to know where we're going to finish. But our guys work hard, and I love being around them. I love coaching them, and excited for the season. So I'll open it up for questions. Anything you guys have for me. I know a brief statement. I'd rather answer what you guys want to hear about.
We'll now open the floor up for questions. Once again, please raise your hand and a microphone will be brought to you. And for those of you joining us on Zoom, please remain on mute and type your questions into the chat, and we'll read them here in the room. And Coach, we do have a Zoom question already.
Sure.
You mentioned being in your second year. What do you think was the biggest thing you learned from your first year that you can take into the second year?
We all learned about each other. My staff had never worked together ever. Not just the coaches, but the entire staff, support staff, everybody. Our players, learned about our players. It's one thing to have a bunch of veteran guys come back. It's another to see how they perform in stressful situations at home, on the road, whatever it may be. I learned our conference, what our conference is about, what it's like to go on road games and trips. I learned what their philosophies are, what the talent level's like. So it was an incredible learning experience for me and our staff and our players, to be honest, to be able to now use that information as we carry on and prepare for this season.
Coach Dominic Rossetto, College Football Dogs and Sunbelt Syndicate. How much improvement have you seen from Ethan Vasco's game from last season to going into this year? I know you said you don't have a starting lineup that you know for sure yet, but just specifically on him, how he's progressed. I know he was kind of in the mold of that Grayson McCall type player, and just what your thoughts are going into the season with him.
Yeah, so I'll start off. It's hard to replace a Grayson McCall, right? You guys have all been around here for the last 3 to 4 years and watched him play and know what impact he had on a game, but also what he had for Coastal Carolina athletics, the city of Conway and Myrtle Beach. Like it's immeasurable what he's done, and we wish him the best. Unfortunately, he had an injury last year, and we had to play 6 games without him. And so Ethan Vasco got a chance to show what he can do in 4 of those games. He did exactly what we needed him to do. First thing he did was won. He was 3-1 as a starting quarterback. He took care of the football. He had 7 touchdowns and 1 interception. So when you get a quarterback that will take care of the football, you get a quarterback that can win, find ways to win, that's a pretty good thing. I think our coaching staff did a tremendous job of realizing what he can do and at that time make the adjustments we needed to make and give us the opportunity to win as we continue to develop him and watch him grow. Ethan just continues to grow in everything. He's getting bigger. He's getting stronger. He's getting faster. He's getting smarter. He's understanding the game better. He's throwing the ball better. He's running faster. So all the things you would expect a kid who is a redshirt freshman going into a sophomore season to be able to see, how he's going to develop. We went out and got a couple of transfers, right? Noah Kim from Michigan State, Tad Hudson from North Carolina, and have a tremendous freshman in DJ Moore. So the room is very, very talented. And I'm excited to see our progress heading in the fall in the competition.
Got another question from Zoom. This is for both Zach and Shane. The coach made mentions of the 66 new faces and just talked about the 2 transfer quarterbacks. How difficult is it to sort of incorporate all those new faces into the program?
Yeah, it definitely took a minute to, learn everybody's name and, get familiar with faces. But one of the big emphasis this summer was building team chemistry. And I think we've done a good job of that. Guys are getting close. We're getting close as a team, and things are trending in a positive direction.
Yeah, like you said, we got 66 new guys, and at this point, it's all about getting those 66 new guys bought into what we're trying to do as a program and as a team, getting everyone on the same page, getting everyone, doing the same thing. Everyone's wearing the same stuff. It's the little stuff that we've been focusing on that maybe we let slip in the past, but it's the little things that lead to big things, and that's what we've been focusing on, and it's been working, and we're growing as a team, and we're ready to go.
If I could add to that, as a coach, it's funny how much the game is changing. College football is changing, but even as a coach, your preparation, your planning, like you have to plan for this now. You have to literally have a plan. Like, how do I get my football team closer? Because in the past, you would have guys, you'd recruit them as a freshman. You'd go into their homes. You'd recruit them for a whole year. You'd sign them. You'd have 25 guys come in. You can handle 25 guys, right? You get to know them. They'd stay in your program. You might have attrition. You might lose 10 by the time they graduate, but you still have 15 guys with you. Those days are gone. How do you fix that? So not only do you have to teach them X's and O's and have to go to academics and weight training and conditioning and all that, you got to find time to build culture. You got to find time to build chemistry. And it's some of the things that we focused on, knowing that that was going to be big for us with such a high number of new players and losing the veterans, right? The Will McDonalds, the Reese Whites, the players that have played a lot of football, Grayson McCalls, they're all gone, who've led this football team for so long. Who are going to be those leaders? How is our team going to respond and be together? And so I like where we're at with that regard. It's just getting out on the field now and finding out who the guys are that are going to play for us, because there's a lot of really, really good players in that locker room for sure.
Thomas Terry with KTSW Sports. Coach, I heard you talking about Vegas earlier. If I was a betting man, I'd go down the street to Caesars and bet on you guys being a great defensive team again. You know, how is it that you can have this team ready to go year in and year out and be so sound defensively, especially, like you said, bringing in so many guys this year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Coach Niver and our defensive staff, there's some flexibility, right? You build your program around your players. In today's world, you have to do that. You can't just have a program and try to fit them. You can't fit the pieces necessarily in there all the time. There's a system in place, right? How you call an offensive play because the same's true on offense, right? When we had Grayson McCall and we had to go play Jared Guest, and then from Jared Guest, we had to go to Ethan Vasco. They were all different. And so you have to tweak your plan. It's the same defensively. As we go out and we recruit players, we're longer up front. We're more athletic up front. Okay, let's use that. How are we going to change that from what we had last year, right? To create more pass rush, to be able to do some things like that. So those are all, and it's a great question, but that's all stuff we do talk about and we address. And both my coordinators have the flexibility to be able to put our players in position to make plays.
Got a Zoom question for Shane, and Coach just mentioned this a little. The defense will look considerably different than the previous year, and you're one of the returnees on that side of the football, a veteran of a unit that improved last year over 2022. How do you help ensure the continuity of the defense's strong performance from last year with an almost completely revamped and brand new lineup?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of repetition. You know, over the summer, we've been having walkthroughs, extra meetings, just getting all the new guys that have come in, acquainted to the defense. And, you know, camp's coming up in a week, but I feel like we've had a camp mindset all summer. Guys are going to be coming into camp executing at a high level, and I think that's going to carry into the season.
Again, just to comment a little bit off that, there a lot, you know, Shane's a veteran player, Will Whitson, you know, veteran player, Jawan Powell, veteran player, Matt McDoom, veteran player, Abe Timoni, Tobias Fletcher, starters last year at safeties for us, Courtney Eubanks in the bowl game, right? Second on the team in interception. So there's not as much turnover as we think defensively. I think defensively we have a little, it's in the D line. I think we'll have 19 players, 15 of them are new to the program at defensive line. And it's where just transitionally, systematically, what we were trying to get and put into place and what we've been able to go out and recruit. And our staff's done a great job, our recruiting's done a great job. That's where you'll see the biggest change, I think, with our team.
Emmanuel Peppers, Sun Belt Conference. Coach, you mentioned about how many newcomers that you have, but also just talk about kind of the opportunity for it to kind of breed sort of that healthy competition as guys are obviously fighting for spots and fighting for playing time, and kind of evaluate that aspect and what you saw from that perspective throughout the spring.
Yeah, I think, and again, it's interesting, right? 66 new players, 44 of them came in this summer. So we only had 22. But yes, I think competition, that's one thing that's very, very hard to practice, right? There's a lot of things you can improve on, a lot of things you can work on, a lot of things you can emulate. Competition's hard. Yeah, it's one thing to shoot free throws or run a line drill or something, but when you're out there and it's hot and you got gear on, you're going one-on-one in a coverage drill, or you're going one-on-one on a blocking drill or a tackling drill, that's harder, right? There's no question. So that's what I'm looking for. I believe we brought enough depth. This is a hungry football team now. There's no Grayson McCall that's played 4 years, or Will McDonald that's been a 3-year starter, or JT Killen that's been a 3-year starter. Like, everybody wants to play. And so that you can feel in the locker room. You can sense that. And that's exciting. That's exciting when guys are chomping at the bit to get out there and compete against each other. And you can feel that. And we start Monday, right? Monday's our first practice report. We report Sunday. So it's on us right now. So, but having that competition, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Got a question here for both the players, Zach and Shane. With the evolution of football, it just seems like every year it gets faster and faster. Play calls, technology, the amount of adjustments that you can make in game. How do you keep up with that from a mental and a physical perspective for both of you?
Probably just repetition, really remembering, what you got going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, just practicing, like, we got the helmet comms this year. So I know one thing that we started to do last week is we just put it in a hat, put the hat on, and give the calls that way, just so we can work it before we get into camp. Because that is something that's new, and definitely needs to be practiced before the season starts.
I think as you go through a couple of things, one is, that was a great question, and you asked an offensive lineman. Like, the game fastens in the terminology and that. There's not a whole lot for those guys going on up front, except blocking the guys in front of them. But our players, like we talked about leadership, right? And one of the things these guys have done on their own, I create a unity council. So each position votes for a leader on their team. And those leaders in the unity council, they act as coaches through the summer, right? Our summer coaches, we take vacation. So these guys work on playbooks and things that Shane talked about, right? That Zach talks about. They may watch tape and they may install. A quarterback may meet with the receivers and install and do some things like that. That's an area of our team that has really grown, incorporating this unity council as leaders to create that. That also builds chemistry within the team. That's part of the plan, right? When I said, how do you plan? How do you organize your guys to get closer? You have player-led practices. I tell them all the time, these guys, in terms of like, hey, look, we're not going to be in the huddle. We're not going to be out there. How good do you guys want to be? Hey, wideouts, you want to know the formations? What are you doing? Hey, leader of the Unity Council for wide receivers, what are you doing to ensure these guys are better? Hey, D-line guy, we got 15 new D-linemen. What are you doing to make sure they understand what a left call is? How are you helping us get better when our coaches are gone on vacation? So the leadership part has been a big part to all of our unity and growing our football team closer together.
Got a Zoom question from Danny Kelly, and it sort of carries over what you were just talking about. This is for Zach. Who has stood out to you on offense so far in those summer workouts? And who do you think can fill the void of last year's playmakers?
It's hard to answer that right now because the pads haven't come on yet. We figure a lot of that stuff out. We got, like Coach said, we got a lot of hungry guys in that locker room. We got 40 transfer portal guys, 40 guys that came here to play. So it's a matter of getting your shot and getting your opportunity. And when your opportunity comes, it's competing and shining. And competition, iron sharpens iron, and we're only going to get better from, the goal is to have the best competition every day in practice. That way, when you get into the game, it's easy. And that's what we do up front. I know that. And that's what we do in the secondary is we push each other in practice every single day.
We know these Power 5 or Core 4 games are tougher and tougher for conferences such as the Sun Belt to get anymore these days. You guys are lucky enough to have one come to you, and you spoke about how the stadium is getting enhancements. Is there, I know we take it week by week, but is there some extra excitement in knowing that you're bringing a program like that to your home stadium, and one coach that you are obviously familiar with, but specifically to the players, is there excitement around campus between your roommates and friends that, are looking forward to getting that chance and that shot?
Well, I mean, you guys want to answer it first and then I could.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things, happening. I know our new AD was throwing around some ideas with us last night at dinner, and I think the stadium is going to be rocking this year. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, the school is continuing to grow. We got a president that's wanting the school to grow. We have a new exciting AD that's hungry and wants to push this university to the next level. And it's exciting as players and students to see that and to see that push from the top, and that they want to keep this university growing. It's exciting.
So Yeah, I think having a Power Five school coming in is exciting. I think the city of Conway and the city of Myrtle Beach and the surrounding areas will be excited. We have a great home schedule, a tough one, obviously. Sun Belt Conference is so demanding. It doesn't matter who you play, where you play them. If 12 teams that are bowl eligible out of 14, that's pretty impressive. There's not, no other conference can state that, right? But I think our team's used to that. I think our fans are used to it. I think last year, everybody we played was bowl eligible. I think we were one of 2 teams in the country that had that. So like it's become second nature, right, to some degree. Do I look that far in advance? It's hard to. It really is. You know, the week of the game will be probably pretty cool. But right now, like I'm trying to figure out Sunday when everybody reports like who's speaking first and all the compliance issues and things that we have to go through and paperwork and get ready for practice on Monday. So that's kind of where we're at with it.
With no more questions from the floor, Coach, Zach, Shane, thank you for being here. Good luck to you in the coming season.
All right. Appreciate you.